Hello, I'm Molly Mormon. I know you probably thought that Molly Mormon was just a fictitious character like the Tooth Fairy or the Easter Bunny, but Molly Mormon really exists. I've been canning and working on my food storage for the last 40 years. I think it took 40 years for Noah to build the ark, and so my nickname is Ark Lady, Arkladie. It took me 40 years to build our food storage, and it's still not anywhere near what I want it to be. I didn't see a demonstration anyplace on YouTube for dry packing in canning jars, and so I just wanted to go over this really quickly for those of you who've not tried this. It's about as simple as it can possibly be. I have in my hands, not too good at this either, I have in my hands here a jar of baking cocoa in a 1 quart canning jar. And you'll notice that there isn't any canning ring around the top here. It is sealed with an oxygen absorber. It's a very simple process. You need to use food products that are low in moisture, and I also read that they should be low in oil, fats. Just about anything that's canned commercially in a number 10 can with an oxygen absorber can be canned in a 1 quart or really any size canning jar. You can use the 2 quart canning jars, you can use the pint jars, the half pint jars. They're just a handy size for almost anything with your home canning jars. You don't have to buy these brand new. They're $7 or $8 a dozen new. You should be able to pick them up at garage sales for about $1 a dozen. I picked up about 1,000 by advertising on the free radio station one time. So several of the ladies that I knew were able to pick up 200 or 300 jars a piece. You shouldn't have to pay more than $1 a dozen for them used, maybe $2. But it's a handy way for lots of things. One of the things I thought would be great for the dry packing in canning jars, can't say it, would be things like egg powder that you want to use in smaller quantities. Basically, I have a dirty canning jar here that was on my shelf, and I can't bring out my oatmeal because I'm afraid I'll get it in my keyboard. That would not be good. So we're going to use pretend oatmeal here. You take your empty canning jar and fill it with your dry food product. And then this is not an oxygen absorber, it's about the size and shape of an oxygen absorber. You just tuck it in the top, basically right on top of your oatmeal, pretend oatmeal here. And then take a clean, everything should be clean and dry. Take a clean canning lid. You might want to warm this up a little bit. I wouldn't do it with water, maybe just blow it with a hair dryer for a minute or two. That's not necessary, but if you have any trouble with the jar sealing, you might want to think about doing that. So you take your flat canning lid and just place it on top of the jar, on top of your oxygen absorber, and then you have your ring band. Oh, there goes my lid. Just like you would with wet products, pretty much. So your oxygen absorber is there in there on the top. And you screw down the lid firmly tight. You don't want to wrench it too hard, but it should be firmly tight. And then over a period of the next few hours, it should cause the middle part of your canning jar to suck down. And then once that's happened, just like it does for when you're canning wet foods, then it should hold to the jar. I don't know how well you can see this. Apparently I used a defective lid, or I used one that had already been used for canning, because I don't know if you can see that. It has a little dent in the top of it. So if worse came to worse, and you're out of canning lids, or you wanted to economize, you could even save your lids if you open them carefully from your regular canning. Make sure they're clean and dry. Everything needs to be clean and dry. And then you have a vacuum seal. So there's no ring band here. It's just that it's vacuum sealed from the oxygen absorber. So the cocoa isn't going to come out. This particular jar of cocoa I canned in 1998. If you keep your products away from heat and away from direct sunlight, this would be great to put them back in a box with dividers in them like the way they come. You keep them away from heat and direct light, they can theoretically last as long as they will last in a number 10 can with an oxygen absorber. It's the equivalent of nitrogen packing in the 1970s when the Sam Andy Company first came out with nitrogen packed foods. And those have been known to keep their quality for 25 or 30 years. They used the nitrogen packing was actually not as effective as these little oxygen absorbers that go in the top. This one has one in it, but you can't really see it. There's an oxygen absorber laying in the top of there. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little tongue-tied. Once your product is in the jar and it's got the oxygen absorber in it, and you tighten down the lid and it's sealed, and this is sealed. It has a vacuum seal. Tuck it away, label it, date it, and just rotate them as you want to. If you don't get a chance to rotate them, chances are they're going to be in good shape for your children or your grandchildren over the years. I have seen and done a lot. I have seen and done a lot of things concerning. I'm not going to say that straight. I'm going to get this all screwed up. I have done a lot of things with foods over the years and have experimented and tried things such as I bought some add water only brownie mix and kept it at room temperature in the basement for 9 years, and it wasn't sealed in a jar or in a can or anything else. It was in a bag, and it was perfectly fine at the end of 9 years. And I'll talk more about shelf life in another video, but this is just a handy dandy way to have things in smaller containers. They're reusable. My oxygen absorbers at the time cost me 8 cents a piece. So I have a grand total of the cost of one lid and one oxygen absorber in one of these jars. Reusably, of course, you wouldn't want to recycle them in your trash because you might want to fill this with green beans someday, right? So Molly Mormon says, actually, I think the real Molly Mormon is Wendy DeWitt. She's got some amazing videos up on YouTube. If you want to search her, I agree with 99.8% of everything she says. She's got some amazing videos on YouTube. Some of my other favorite products, and I'm just going to do this briefly here. I'm going to try to cover the labels because I don't know if you're supposed to do that or not. It's about 3 pounds of Sloppy Joe filling is in this can. You may find at institutional supply companies, we have them in the Midwest, that you can find ready to eat. This is the real thing. The number one ingredient in this is beef. The second one is water. And the third one is tomato paste. So it's Sloppy Joe. It's not a Sloppy Joe mix. It has the beef and everything right in it. Just heat and eat. There's lots of products that are just like that. I have a couple more here. I don't know if you can see the picture, but this is a beef steak chili. It's about a 3-pound can. You may be able to find these at your warehouse clubs. I do believe the warehouse clubs carry a boned chicken. This is really high quality stuff. Just awesome. It looks just exactly like it would if you canned it yourself. If you have the time, patience, and energy to can meat products yourself, and I have done that before, turkey and beef and hamburger and so forth, then that's an excellent thing to have in your food storage. But the other ones that I thought were really great were pot roast, ground beef. The ground beef has a little bit of beef, or I'm sorry, beet, B-E-E-T, beet fiber in it. Corned bean hash, chicken and dumplings, and I don't know if I said taco filling. So there's quite a few of those products. I had a little food storage company in 1999 and was able to get some amazing products. A lot of add water only mixes. Have thought about trying to supply those again at some point in time. The next video is going to be about dry packing in 2-liter bottles. Thank you.